Yo, what's going on, everybody? You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by here on a Thursday afternoon as we get you caught up with everything surrounding the New York Knicks as we are officially in the offseason. It has still been a little bit tough for me to stomach the fact that the New York Knicks season is over, but you know what? It is what it is at this point. The playoffs are continuing to roll on, and they were continuing to do it without the New York Knicks. So in today's video, we're going to talk about everything that everyone else is talking about players that the Knicks could trade for. ESPN came out with an article where they came up with 6 players they think the New York Knicks will target this summer. Ian Begley of SNY has talked about if Donovan Mitchell is still a trade target for the New York Knicks. He also has mentioned Brandon Ingram as a guy the Knicks could look to target. So we'll talk about all that on today's show. But first, let's get a real one roll call going in the comment section as we give everybody time to join the live show. Love seeing the names in the chat that we would always see. What up, Joey DeLuca, Ty Man the Buckeye, Will the Thrill from Brazil. What's up, my man? Sherwin, what's happening? Neighbors is him. Justin Williams, Keith Turner, Keith 10 toes down Turner. What's up, my man? Ty Clemens in the building. What's up? Carl hanging out with all the real ones. What's happening, Carl? Joseph says Bucketeers in the chat. Bucket of tears? No, Bucketeers. Love that. Dave Cash, what's up, homie? Sammy, WTK. Danny, what's happening? Matt Shaw, Robert Lee. Shout out to everybody in the building. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon for us if you could. Got a lot to talk about on today's show, Patrick Seatman.
Oh, I'm excited. And even though the offseason is here and it's disappointing, this is the speculation is going to be a ton of fun. Like, the Knicks are clearly in a position to make a big move, and I'm excited.
Ty Clemens says, let's not gut the team. Marsh, I'm kind of in that point. Shout out to Joey DeLuca for coming in with the first super chat of the day. Joey, we appreciate you, man. You're always showing love. That means the world to us here. So thank you, bro. Thanks for being a real one. Yeah, I don't think the Knicks need to just make a trade for the sake of making a trade. And I'll explain my thoughts and on that and all of that. We got a bunch to talk about, though. That's just where I stand. There's no need to force a trade. Knicks don't just need to make a trade. They're in a really good spot right now. So if there's an opportunity to better this team, then yeah, you do it. But the best plan of action is to run it back and pick 2 people in the first round and continue to build the foundation of this team as this championship window is not just 1 or 2 years. I'm totally cool with that as well. Shout out to all 144 people in the building. Malik Haddad hanging out with us. We're going to get to a mailbag in about 45 minutes or so. So if you want your question to be answered here live on the channel, go ahead and use hashtag Knicks and include your comment or super chat. If we get enough super chats and hashtag Knicks, we might just do 2 mailbags on today's show. We've only got 1 planned, but if we got a lot of good questions, we can run it twice. We can run it back to back. So if we get a lot of questions, if you guys just want to chop it up, I'll be more than willing to do that with y'all. First time we've gone live this off season, and I love doing these and just interacting with y'all. These are really how Knicks Now got started, these summer lives where we just kind of hung out with all the real ones. So if you want to get your questions answered, hashtag Knicks, just comment and include hashtag Knicks so Patrick Seatman can pull it on our software. Just Knicks, my man, coming in with a $2 super chat. Thanks for the love, my man. Hope you're having a good day. Good to see you in the chat. He says, Mikal or Spida? For me, this is not even close. This is Mikal Bridges by a good bit. When you talk about tiers of trade targets for me, and you mentioned Mikal Bridges, and you mentioned Donovan Mitchell, it's a tier or maybe a 2-tier difference between Bridges and Mitchell. At one point, the Knicks did need to trade for Donovan Mitchell. That was before we knew, or everybody else knew, that Jalen Brunson could be a top 10 player in this league, and he could be the engine facilitating and scoring-wise for an offense. We know he can now be that. You don't need another small guard that needs the ball in their hands. Would the offensive versatility be awesome? Would the extra firepower benefit this team? Yes. But I'm not sure having Donovan Mitchell get you past the Indiana Pacers. You couldn't guard them. You couldn't stop them.
And plus, Devo had a good series at that 2-guard spot. Like, I'm not
yeah,
sure
how much better is
production-
Donovan Mitchell than Dante DiVincenzo? The guy had 37 points or something in Game 7.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think the Donovan Mitchell thing is just like, it would be sweet on 2K. It would be sweet in the regular season. Like, I just don't think he's a needle-moving piece anymore for the Knicks. And he's a great player. He's done great stuff in the NBA, but I just don't think it's a good fit for what the Knicks want to accomplish.
Like when I close my eyes and I visualize a perfect New York Knicks team, it does not feature 2 point guards on the same roster at 6'1" that do not defend.
I mean, when is that ever really?
Like, let's say that the Knicks replaced Dante DiVincenzo in round 1 with Donovan Mitchell. Who is guarding Tyrese Maxey?
Yeah.
Like, which one of them to start the series is guarding Tyrese Maxey?
And also, if you have Mitchell, like, takes the ball out of Brunson's hands a whole lot more than a big 4 like a Bridges. Like, he demands the ball. I'm not sure how good Mitchell would be as an off-ball player next to Brunson. Still got questions about that.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of out on Donovan Mitchell, and we'll talk about that later in today's show. Just Knicks, let me know in the chat which player you would want to see the Knicks trade for. My man John Thotty. What's up, Brody? What's up, bro? Says, heard a rumor on Paul George as a target. How much better is he than Randall now and in 2 years? Not sold on it. Also, I got you a Game 7 towel if you want it.
Do you want that?
I don't think I want that.
I don't think you want that, dude.
Do I want that, John Thotty?
Do you want that mojo in the house?
Do I always want to be reminded of the Game 7 loss every time I see that towel?
Yeah.
The thought of you grabbing that for me
Awesome.
puts a freaking smile on my face. But it would take the smile away every time I saw it, I thought. He says, I almost burned mine. Exactly. Exactly. To answer your question, how much better is he than Randall? Man, I honestly don't know. And I honestly don't even know if he is better than Randall at this point. And you all know, if you've watched this show for a while, I've gone back and forth on Julius Randle. And I still don't know where I stand, except for the one take I am 100% confident on with Julius Randle is, if regular season Randle shows up in the playoffs, then the Knicks can compete for a championship. If Randle continues to play at the level that he has throughout his postseason career, the Knicks are never winning a championship.
Yeah.
Do I believe that's the level he is always going to play at? No. Do I believe he can raise his level of play in the playoffs? Yeah. But you know what? He's got to go out and do it. Doesn't matter what I think he can do. He's got to go out and do it. So for me, I would say I think I'd rather have Randle than Paul George at this point. Paul George is 36.
Yeah.
Paul George shrunk in the playoffs with no Kawhi. And he had James Harden running the offense. I think Paul George would be a good fit. But if I'm trading for Paul George, I want him to be in my starting lineup with Brunson, Paul George, OG, Julius Randle, and Isaiah Hartenstein. I don't want to trade Randle for Paul George at this point. Maybe I will come back to regret that I won't at this point. But right now, I can't trade a 29-year-old player that's coming off 3 All-Star appearances in the last 4 years for Paul George, who is consistently hurt, consistently shrinks in the playoffs, no matter how good of a fit it feels like on paper or 2K.
And I feel like Paul George is one of those guys, like, that wall is going to come very fast for him. Like,
how long is he going to be a good defender?
Exactly. And I don't think his offensive game, like, he can lose his athletic ability and still be, producing the way he has the past couple of years. Like, is he really going to be a catch-and-shoot guy? Like, Marsh and I were talking about it yesterday, like, Kevin Durant. I feel like Kevin Durant's going to age like fine wine. He's already had major injuries, and because of his shooting ability. So maybe for just next season, I would probably go Paul George because I think he would be a better fit with the Knicks. In 2 years, like if you gave me a 3-year run, I would much rather bank on a guy like Julius Randle in comparison to Paul George. But John Thotty, that's definitely a tough question. Like I don't know if there's a right answer to that right now, but it's kind of where I'm at.
I would not trade Julius Randle for Paul George. I can't do that.
Yeah.
One guy was an all-star this year. One guy was going to make the all-NBA team again. And
Paul George is focused on other things. Like
he's got a podcast. He's 36 years old. He'll be 37 by the time the season ends next year.
34 right now. Is he? That was KD 36?
34 for Paul George.
I feel like he's an older 34.
He's had a lot of injuries, too, like serious injuries.
Serious injuries. So
He's 1 year younger than Kevin Durant. Give me KD.
KD is going to age a lot better than Paul George.
So, yeah, I would not. That's just my opinion on that, though. Will McConaughey, what's up, Brody? Keep Randall and trade Bogey and a first for DeMar. Well, our Chicago Bulls host here on the channel. Would you trade DeMar DeRozan for a...
See, what would be... Like, it would have to be in a sign-and trade. I don't know. Like, I would take a first-round pick for DeMar DeRozan. If the Knicks offered 24 or 25, like, I would take that. Just because, personally, I want the Bulls to reset. I don't know if their front office would do that. But I still really like the fit for DeMar coming to the Knicks. And I actually think DeMar would be that type of player that would embrace a role off the bench. And I think he would be fantastic at it. Still an automatic bucket. I mean, we've seen it over this past season. I would take that deal. I really doubt the Bulls front office would. But for the Knicks, I would do that. Bogey and a first for DeMar. Hell yeah.
What's up, CPJ? What's up, OG? What's up, Kid Lamar? Shout out to everybody in the building. Over 230 people watching. I like DeMar DeRozan. For me, I would do this deal, considering you have 8 tradable first-round picks. It just comes down to what's the contract extension you're giving DeMar DeRozan. And 2, I don't necessarily want him in my starting lineup.
Yeah, I would still want Devo at that.
Yeah, I still want Dante DiVincenzo playing next to OG. And if you can keep Randall, sure. I think DeRozan would age beautifully if he decides to turn his clock to kind of a Manu Ginobili type role.
Yeah, you would know it'd be great.
Yeah, he comes off the bench. He is the one that's controlling the game.
Yeah.
Anytime Brunson's not in the game, it's DeMar DeRozan running the show. He's a bucket, one of the best mid-range scorers we've ever seen.
Underrated playmaker. People don't talk about.
Yeah, he's also a guy that can create quality shots for his teammates as well. I like him. He's a scorer. Knicks could use another one of those guys, and you've got enough first-round picks to sacrifice. If this is all it costs, maybe not one of my own first-round picks. It would not be one of my own, but you want the Detroit, you want the Washington, you want the Milwaukee one, you want the Dallas pick this year, you want pick 25 of ours this year, go ahead.
Yeah.
But I'm shooting for a little bit. I'm going a little bit bigger game hunting if I'm going hunting. But if you want to just make a small move like this, yeah, I'm cool with that.
See, I think DeMar would be the one where it's like, if we run it back.
Adding DeMar and losing Bogey would be dope.
Dope.
I like that. J10, what's happening, brother? He said, yo, what's up, fam? He says, I received the package today. Thank you, man. Let me know what you think of the poster. I think they look super sweet in person. Over YouTube, they can kind of look a little bit different. Let me know what you thought of it. He said, thank you. No, thank you, brother. Thank you. He says, as for the offseason, I think the answer will come down to what we need to give up to get the right player. Can't overpay if we want to build a dynasty with Jalen. Of course, they got to make shrewd moves again. And that's what Leon Rose has done since becoming the head of basketball operations here. Outside of his first summer, where he paid Fournier and he got Kemba and he brought all those old guys back. Kid Lamar says DeMar is a starter. I agree. I'm not sure DeMar DeRozan is a starter on a championship-winning team anymore. He could for sure be a starter on any team, though, that wants to be in the play-in or competing for the 4th or 5th or 6th seed. But what team of the Final Four does he start on right now? He doesn't start on the Mavs.
No.
He doesn't start on the Timberwolves. He doesn't start on the Thunder. Maybe he starts on the Pacers, and you know what? I think the Pacers would rather have a defender like Nesmith starting over him.
See, I think his game, his game would translate so well to being like that former star, embraces the bench role. He's a smart player, plays the game the right way. Not as I don't know if he'll how good defensively he would be as he keeps on aging, but he's got super long arms and he's an athlete. So,
are you asking what's my beef with Booker? I don't have beef with Booker, CPJ. I know there's a lot of Knicks fans, Patrick Seaman included, doesn't think it's a smart trade, but I do. I think the Knicks could use another 6'5" guard that makes a team change the way they defend you. But we're going to talk about Devin Booker in today's show. Shout out to all 250 people watching. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up icon. Reminder to everybody watching, first time watching, all Super Chats get up on screen. We're going to do a mailbag in about 25 minutes. All Super Chats will be included in that. And if you want to get your question featured on the show, just use hashtag Knicks in your comment, and producer Patrick Seatman will decide which questions come up on the show. What's up, Carl? Chase VA. My question to you is this. You were here watching all playoffs and hating. Why are you now watching on a random Thursday hating? Like, I'm a little worried for your well-being at this point. Like,
I think he likes us a little bit.
I think he likes us a lot of bit. Clearly, he's here on a Thursday on a weekly live show talking about bad ways the Knicks should make moves. Yeah, I get you like the content. But to be honest with you, I'm tired of seeing you in the chat hating. So fix it. I put you in timeout because you were acting like a child. If you were blocked, you wouldn't be able to come back. That's what I did, brother. I put you in timeout because you were acting like a child. If you were blocked, I promise you I didn't unblock you. Therefore, you went in timeout. You sat in the corner. But if you just want to continue to hang out here and be weird, you know what? I'm just not going to do this. We'll see you, Brody. We'll see you. Everybody say bye-bye, Chase. Bye-bye, Chase. I can't do the haters in a Thursday live. I can't do that. We'll see you. Bye-bye, Chase. Bye-bye. Like, do you have no life? Like, literally, do you have no life? Like, literally. Go get some bitches. Do something.
Not this offseason we're dealing with that.
Like, if you want to do that in the playoffs, sure, you have every right. We're not doing that today.
G5, that's great.
Golly, dude. His life must suck. I don't even know who his team is.
I think he's a Knicks guy.
No, he's not.
Was he a Sixers guy?
I don't even think so. Dave Cash, I can't deal with it.
Oh, man.
Wild, wild, wild. All righty. First segment on today's show is ESPN has come up with a list of 6 players they think the Knicks are going to trade for this offseason. So we'll break down those 6 players, and then we've got rumors about Brandon Ingram as well as Donovan Mitchell to talk about, and then we're going to do a mailbag. He clearly does like me, though, because he's consistently here. Like, guys, I'm not that cool. If you are spending your free time as a human being and you're not a Knicks fan to come to this show to chirp in the comments, what are you doing with your life? Like,
I think so, neighbors.
I think so, too, man. I think so, too. Dave Cash with a $5 super chat. I want Dave Cash to be the bouncer of Knicks Now. Dave Cash gets to decide who's in and who's out. Shout out to him. He sent a $5 super chat. He said, bounced him, made my day, laughed my ass off. We'll pop that up on the screen in a second. Dave Cash, our system is tweaking a little bit right now. Give us a couple seconds, a couple minutes or so. Let's talk about the ESPN trade targets, and then
Go get some. That's what I started dying at. That's what I was dying at.
Buzzer beater. Like, for real, though. Was that too much?
Oh, my God. No. Go get some. That's up there as one of my favorite quotes.
What was better, that or saying the girl was bad with DiVincenzo on the line and 11 seconds left?
Well, that was the broadcast fault. Everybody was thinking it.
Thing is, he looked like he was a grown-ass man.
Thoughty, that's funny.
All right.
Whoa.
Hey, yo. I don't even know what that means, but we should probably stop that. All right. Buzzer beater. Oh, my God. That's a good comment right there. And my guy, Dave Cash, we'll pop y'all super chats up on screen in a second. Let's talk about what they're talking about on ESPN. The offseason is officially here for the New York Knicks, and ESPN has crafted a list of 6 players that they think Leon Rose, Tom Thibodeau, and the New York Knicks front office could target this summer in a blockbuster trade. We're going to break that down on today's show as you're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. My question to you is this. What should the Knicks do this offseason? 50 wins, second seed, you lose in 7 in round 2. What should they do? Type R for run it back or type B for they should make a big move. According to Howard Beck, he thinks the Knicks are all in on making a big-time trade. Former New York Post writer, sports columnist out in L.A., now works for The Ringer, says this. And he said he heard it from a source close to James Dolan at MSG. Quote, the Knicks now, as ever, are in a perpetual hunt for another glitzy star. And Dolan, as ever, expects one. And we've all heard for quite some time now that this is the summer the New York Knicks are going to make a big move. We heard that last summer. We heard that at free agent, the trade deadline. We've heard for over a year now that this is the year that the New York Knicks plan on making a big-time trade. And they've got all the draft capital in the world to do it. 2 picks this year, potentially 4 next year, 8 tradable first-round picks, and 11 for future first-rounders in the next 7 years. Your 2025 draft capital, you got a top 4 protected pick from the Bucks, top 13 protected from Detroit, top 10 protected from Washington. And the New York Knicks, they also have their own pick. If the top 13 protections hold true, they will then go to 11, then 9, and then for Washington, if it's not a top 10 pick, the protections then roll over to a top 8 pick going into the 2026 NBA draft. The first person that ESPN has listed as trade targets for the Knicks this offseason is Devin Booker, the scoring guard from the Phoenix Suns. And there's a lot to break down about Devin Booker as a trade candidate for the New York Knicks. But my first thought about all of it is if the Phoenix Suns are actually going to blow it up, like they're going to move off Booker, trade Durant, they can't trade Beal, nobody wants him, and he's got no trade clause. If the Suns are signaling to the league that Booker is available, the Knicks should go all in and get it done. Booker is one of the best players in the league. He's been one of the best players in the league for quite some time. He is a certified bucket. Last 4 years hasn't averaged less than 25.6 points per game. Never shot lower than 46.6% from the field. He's also a good three-point shooter. Can create his own shot while also, in my opinion, being an underrated playmaker. He kind of had to take on some point guard responsibilities for the Phoenix Suns this year, as they didn't really have one with Beal, Booker, and KD. The guy averaged 6.9 assists. I also think he's a little bit of an underrated defender. And I think that he, next to Brunson, makes a lot of sense. Booker, 6'5", 6'6", can play with his back to the basket, and he changes the ways defenses will have to guard the Knicks. He's also been a primetime player in the playoffs, and that's what the Knicks need. They need another bona fide star that's had primetime success in the playoffs. He has 47 career playoff games for Booker. Been there, done that. Averaging 28 points per game, 5 boards, 5 assists, 49% from the deck, and 39% from 3. It doesn't get much better than Devin Booker when it comes to a scoring guard. Talk about his advanced analytics. He would be a great fit next to the Knicks. We need a guy that can knock down a catch and shoot 3 every once in a while. 37%. We need a guy that can create his own shot from 3, besides Brunson. 36% on those. He knocks down 51.5% of his pull-up 2s. 37.5% of his shots come from pull-up 2s. Think about that. 51.5% on pull-up middies. And that's 37.5% of the shot diet. He's also great around the rim, shooting 60.8%, less than 10 feet from the cup. Also, Devin Booker, he's part of that CAA mafia, baby. He's a part of the CAA mafia. And I have heard that Devin Booker is who Leon Rose wants. And I have heard that, and I've known that for quite some time at this point. But you know what? To buy something, it's got to be on sale. And I don't see the Suns trading Devin Booker. Why would you trade Booker if you're the Suns? The only way is if he forced his way out. And it doesn't really seem like he is going to do that. There's been some talk he wants to follow that Kobe Bryant legacy of one team, one player, one career. If you're going to retool if you're the Suns, you trade Kevin Durant and you get picks and young players back. Trading Booker just signals we're not even trying to compete anymore. If he's available, go all in. I don't see it being all that likely, to be quite honest with you, though. Mikal Bridges is the second player that ESPN has linked to the New York Knicks as a trade target. And you know me, baby. I'm all in on the Nova Knicks. You can never have too many Nova Knicks. Yes, Mikal Bridges is a top trade target for me this summer once again. And it honestly, it's cool, the whole Nova thing and stuff like that, but it's so much deeper than that. The dude is a great basketball player. And he honestly didn't even have that good of a year this year with the Brooklyn Nets. He was worse this year than what he was last year. And I think a large part of that was because the Nets asked him to shoulder more of a scoring load, more of a scoring responsibility. He had to take a lot tougher shots. But you see that the prior 3 seasons this year, every year got better. The workload increased, the production increased. The final 27 games for Brooklyn after he was traded from the Suns to there, he played like a superstar. And he embodies everything that also Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, and Jalen Brunson embody. Do whatever it takes to win a basketball game. Make winning plays. And he'd fit like a glove, not the OJ glove, in this offense. 38.5% on catch and shoot threes. Can go and get his own bucket consistently from three off the bounce. Knocked him down at 34%. Can create from here for himself as well in the mid-range. Shoots the pull-up too at 40.5%. Not elite when it comes to less than 10 feet from the basket, but he is also a solid finisher there. But like Booker, it's the same with Bridges. Would Brooklyn ever trade Bridges to New York? They haven't done a trade in 41 years. I think it's got to be a 3-team deal if Brooklyn is going to trade Bridges to New York. And I think that 3-team trade includes the Knicks, the Nets, and the Hawks. Trae Young to the Nets, Julius Randle to the Hawks, Mikal Bridges to the Knicks, and we'll figure out where the first-round picks goes. I just don't see the ownership group in Brooklyn giving the Knicks the missing piece to the puzzle, potentially, of a super team. We've talked about Mikal Bridges on the channel for quite some time. We broke down the quotes from Bill Simmons where he predicted the Knicks will overpay for him this summer. I saw a lot of comments in the comments section, and we've ran this as a poll, but I want to get back to it. Who is the better player? Straight up, who's the better player? Is it Bridges? Is it Randle? Another thing I didn't mention that I absolutely love about Bridges is he doesn't miss games. I don't think he's missed an entire a game in his career, but that was for the previous part. Just wanted to put it out there. Who's the better hooper, though? MB, JR? Let me know what you think. We got more trade targets to talk about, but first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Chubbies. Summer is right around the corner, and our friends at Chubbies are bringing the good vibrations. Chubbies is a lifestyle apparel brand that makes every moment feel like a vacation. They say fashion is an expression of one's character, so why not let the world know you're down for a good time? For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners here on Knicks Now 20% off your order with our exclusive code CHAT. Use code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com/chat. Chubbies offers a variety of high-quality men's apparel from super stretchy shorts and swim trunks in 3 short inseam lengths to pants, polos, and button-down shirts for when you need to hit up your favorite weekend spot. Embrace the spirit of endless summers with Chubbies, the ultimate destination for bold, vibrant, and outrageously comfortable clothing. Whether you're getting dressed up for your workday, a workout, or a weekend getaway, Chubbies has you covered. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving Knicks Now viewers 20% off your order with our code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com/chat. That's code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com/chat. Support our show and tell them we sent you. Don't blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubbies. All that information is clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. The next player that ESPN had linked to the New York Knicks is Kevin Durant. And we've already done a full video talking about Kevin Durant. That's why you subscribe and turn your notifications on. You can go check that one out. But in my opinion, Kevin Durant is still a top player in the NBA. He was just voted second team All-NBA alongside Jalen Brunson. Not going to lie to you. When I read the All-NBA teams and I saw the second All-NBA team and I saw Brunson and Durant on the same team, I said, maybe that's something we could get used to. Kevin Durant was unbelievably good for the Phoenix Suns this year. 27.3 points per game, over 5 assists, 52% from the field, and 41% from downtown. But my favorite thing about KD this past year was that he played in 74 of 82 games, which was a major change for him. In 2020, he played 35, then 55, then 47. Another underrated part of KD's game, in my opinion, is his ability to control the offense and almost play like a point guard at times. I think it was the last 4 years he's averaged over 5 assists, and he was once again really good in the playoffs this year for Phoenix. They did get swept, but you know what? I think he gave you everything he got, giving you 27, 7, and 3+ assists on 55% from the field. Imagine the Knicks adding another score that can get you 27 on 55 and 42 splits. A bad game for Kevin Durant is 23 points on 8 of 18. I'd take one of those guys every single night. And I'm dead-ass serious when I say this. I'm not just saying it. Brunson, OG, Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Kevin Durant, that says can, they will. They will win a championship. If you have a top 6 of Brunson, OG, Hart, DiVincenzo, Ihart, and Kevin Durant, you will win a championship if everybody does stay healthy. And I honestly believe that Kevin Durant could look at the New York Knicks as a golden opportunity for his career. KD talks about it all the time. Bro, I'm just a hooper. You want to be a hooper? You want to be remembered as one of the best hoopers of all time? Come win a championship for the New York Knicks. You'll go down as a top 15 player ever. And he's also got a really strong brain on his shoulders. He knows that he's not a great leader. He knows he's not a 1A at this point anymore. And that's why he went to the Golden State Warriors. For culture, strong head coach, and a superstar player. What do the Knicks have? Culture, strong head coach, and a superstar player. KD doesn't need to do anything except come play basketball for the Knicks. I think it's a golden opportunity for him. I think it'd be a golden opportunity for the Knicks. Yeah, he's a little bit older, but you know what? This team needs a championship. I think if you add Kevin Durant, you might just get one of them or two. Another player that ESPN has mentioned as a trade target for the Knicks is Joel Embiid. And you know what? I'm good on Embiid. We've talked for a long time on this channel about trading for Joel Embiid. I'm good. I don't want Joel Embiid on the Knicks. Do we really want another player that we can't depend on to consistently play minutes with one of the most bloated contracts in the NBA and a guy that consistently lowers his level of play in the playoffs? Had some good moments with the Knicks, against the Knicks, no doubt about it. But I am totally worried about the injuries. And Joel Embiid is a player, in my opinion, that even though he is just 30 years old, he's an old 30. Is Joel Embiid going to be successful and dominant at 32, 33 years old? He's extremely talented. There is no doubt about that. Probably would have won his second MVP again this year. But I'm not mortgaging the future for a guy that is always hurt. I just cannot do that. Another player that the Knicks have had mentioned and linked to them by ESPN in this write-up or in this photo that they posted, ESPN New York, was Paul George. And last offseason, we know the Knicks were in conversations with the Clippers about a trade for Paul George. And when you talk about on paper and when you talk about on 2K, yeah, Paul George would be a perfect fit for the Knicks. You know why? Because he could play make, he could shot create, he could defend, and he knocks down threes. It's not just the Knicks, guys. Paul George would be a perfect fit on almost any starting lineup. But a lot of the concerns that I have with Embiid also apply to Paul George. And he's 34 years old. And he's had major injuries in his career. Love that he played 74 games this year. But, man, he was terrible in the playoffs. Like, absolutely terrible. And that's a problem for me. Kawhi Leonard couldn't play. The Clippers, they needed Paul George to step in. And he didn't. He averaged less than 20 points per game. Shot 41% from the field. Couldn't buy a bucket. And I don't think that a guy like Paul George is someone I would give up Julius Randle for. And pretty much if you're going to trade for any of the players that we've talked about in today's show, Randall's probably got to be mentioned. Probably got to be mentioned in that trade talk. Because that's just the way the NBA works. If you make a lot of money and you want to trade for someone with a lot of money, that's how you got to do it. I will say this lineup looks pretty sweet. Brunson, Hart and Devo, Paul George, OG, and Hartenstein. I think that's a really good team. But I think it's just backwards to trade Julius Randle for Paul George at this point. I don't think I would have said that 12 months ago. I definitely wouldn't have said it 24 months ago. That's growth. That's growth for young Marshy. Not trading a 29-year-old, two-time All-NBA player, three-time All-Star, who was coming off maybe his best year in the NBA. Paul George has a player option this summer, so you could opt into the option, and the Knicks could trade for him. But I'm not trading for Paul George as my big fish. If I can get Paul George without trading Julius Randle, sure. But I can't give up Randle for Paul George at this point. Another player that ESPN said is a trade target for the New York Knicks is Donovan Mitchell. And we've talked about all of every angle you could with Donovan Mitchell at this point. I have no interest in it. I don't. I have no interest in trading for Donovan Mitchell anymore. I know how special of a scorer he is. I know what he could do with the ball in his hands. I know the highlights that he creates. I know he could be the engine of the offense in a high pick and roll. But I also just saw him not play in the final two games of the second round where he watched his team get beat up on by the Boston Celtics because he was hurt. And he's always hurt. Played 55 games this year, 68, 67, 53. And at the end of the day, when I think about the final version of the New York Knicks, the one where we're not going to be talking about trades anymore. I'm talking about that team in 2 years, that we legit have a 3-year window to win a championship. I don't want it to be two small guards that can't defend. I want a long, lengthy, versatile, switching type of player next to Jalen Brunson. That ain't Donovan Mitchell. Is he a good player? Yes. Is he a great scorer? Absolutely. Is he an all-star? No doubt about it. Is he fun? Is he electric? Does he make highlight plays? Yeah. We already got our lead guard. Why are we adding another one? Go get a guy that can create off the bounce, that's got height, that's got length, and defensive versatility. Donovan Mitchell's not that guy for me. Is he for you anymore? I think at one point the Knicks may have needed Donovan Mitchell. I don't think they do anymore. Do you? Do you want Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks? He's a polarizing player amongst Knicks fans. You either love him or you don't want him. Or like me, you wanted him and you don't want him anymore. Because it's not the same team. This isn't the same team that we were talking about adding Mitchell in the summer of 2022. Y for yes, M for no. Do you want D. Mitch on the Knicks? And make sure to hit me up on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Hit me up over there, and let's go Knicks. I'm just good on Mitchell, man.
Yeah, I'm good on Mitchell, too. Great player, but also I didn't know the injuries with him. He's missed a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I've just viewed him as
and he had another knee injury this year.
And also, I feel like he is that guy. Once his athletic ability just takes a step back, man, he is going to hit a wall. Like, I've always.
What happens when he can't elevate or he doesn't have an electric first step anymore?
He's kind of like Westbrook. Like, he gives me such more modern day Westbrook vibes, and he's just not a good fit. Like, honestly, this sounds crazy, but I would rather have Dante DiVincenzo as the starting two. That's what I would.
DiVincenzo, obviously Donovan Mitchell's a better player, but when you factor in role, fit, cost,
it's honestly
versatility,
I honestly don't think it's close.
Heart. What do we want to add Donovan Mitchell for? To score 38 in a game 7? Devo just did that.
Have that. I think people get so caught up on I think fit is starting to matter so much more in the NBA now. Look at the Nuggets last year. All those pieces fit next to each other. Look at the teams in the Western Conference Finals. The Timberwolves and the Thunder. My opinion, and the Mavs. I think they're the two best teams in the league. They all complement each other so well. What did the Mavs go do? They went and got big physical forwards to fill out beside Luka and Kyrie. Ended up working out great for them. Timberwolves, getting these Jaden McDaniels, getting a veteran point guard. It's all about fit. Yes, Mitchell's better than Dante, no doubt. But on the Knicks, next to Brunson, next to that lineup, I think DiVincenzo's
There's only
way
so
better.
many pieces of the pie.
There's one basketball.
There's one basketball, and there's only so much salary cap to go around.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest, I don't think you win a championship if your best three players are Brunson, Mitchell, and OG Anunoby.
No.
You need someone better and more versatile and something different than you already have, which you have a better version of Donovan Mitchell already on this team.
And then you think about that, probably 60% of your scoring comes from the perimeter. Like, yes, Brunson works inside, but they initiate from the outside. I think it would be a big mistake. And I honestly don't even think the Knicks are considering it. Like, I really do. Like, the Knicks have been such a smart run organization. I don't think they're considering Mitchell.
My man J10, what's happening, Brody? Thanks for hanging out with us here on a Thursday. Love seeing some familiar faces from the watch party in here. We had like 450 people in here at one point. Shout out to y'all. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon. J10 says, Q, question. Do you think running it back without a trade is a mistake or not? We have to assume Giannis, Lillard, Butler, and Embiid will be healthy and teams will make moves. I'm going to go.
I didn't even read that when I saw it at first.
Dead. It's so hard for me to say because I won't know. Like I can't judge the offseason in the trades they decline, Steves, if I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Like, is running it back a mistake? If you pass up on a good trade, yes. If you pass up on a good trade, yes, yeah. Running it back is a mistake. If you pass up on making a dumb trade, running it back was a great idea. So it just depends on what's on the table, right? I don't think it's the worst idea in the world to run it back and then reassess at the trade deadline.
Like you haven't gave the group
you haven't gave them a real chance.
It wouldn't really be running it back with that.
Yeah, exactly. That's just the phrase that everyone's using. Yeah. Brunson, Randall, and Anunoby played together for 12 games. They won 11 of them. In the 11 wins, they won by 18 points. And these weren't wins, guys, against scrubs. I have a graphic made for this. This isn't wins in that time period versus scrubs. Beat the T-Wolves by 6 in game 1 of that trio. You beat the 76ers with Joel Embiid by 36. You beat the Denver Nuggets by 38.
Wow. And
you beat the Heat by 16. You blew the doors off of a healthy Sixers team, the NBA champions, and the Miami Heat. And you also beat the T-Wolves in game 1 of that trio.
Very nice.
Yeah, make sure Reed does that copy before leaving.
See, I think my dream scenario for the Knicks would be if you can't go get Kevin Durant, I actually think my second choice would be you run it back and you try to go get DeMar DeRozan. And you have him embrace that bench role.
I like DeMar off the bench.
Because he's also, like, if you have injuries, like, he can obviously step into the starting lineup.
I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to enter the season with the starting lineup of Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, and Isaiah Hartenstein. With your bench then being Deuce McBride, Josh Hart, Bojan Bogdanovic.
Yeah. Maybe a rookie.
And you got 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
Just hard for me to say if running it back is the bad idea because I don't know what you passed up on.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. If you can get a deal done for Kevin Durant, it's hard for me to say no. And I know that I'm in the minority of that thinking, but I just ask everybody to do this. Let's do an exercise. Let's take off our KD hater glasses.
Please.
Let's take off our upset glasses that he has burned us twice and talked shit about us. Let's just take those off. And I seriously just want to ask you this question. Do you think, of course, if healthy, a big 3 of KD, Brunson, and OG can win a chip? Yes or no? Do you think a big 3 of Brunson, KD, and OG with Dante, Hart, and iHeart, a big 6, can win a championship? The answer is yes. And honestly, it's far than that.
And hold on.
I think you're the favorite.
Somebody in the chat saying, no, Durant, his personality doesn't mesh. His personality meshes 100%. What does Kevin Durant care about more than anything? Playing basketball. That's kind of the Knicks mentality. They're just a bunch of hoop heads. Like, yeah, maybe he doesn't have that, like, gritty toughness, but he kind of has it in a different way. Like, I think he would fit in perfectly. I think you said it, like, in the video where it's like, it is a Warriors 2.0 feel that he could have with the Knicks where he doesn't have to be the leader. Like, they have Brunson. They have Hart. He can just literally focus on basketball.
He tried to be the leader for the Nets.
Didn't work.
Didn't work. Tried to be the leader for the Suns. Has not worked.
No.
He tried to be the leader for the Thunder.
Didn't work.
You know where he didn't have to be the leader? You know where he didn't have to do anything except score the basketball and play defense and make winning plays? Which, let's be honest, on the court, he is one of the best team players in the NBA.
Almost to a fault.
Golden State. What did he join with Golden State? A strong culture, an already made-up identity, a good head coach, and a superstar already there.
And you had a guy like Josh Hart, Draymond Green, where it's like they're the head dude in the locker room.
He knew that Golden State was never his team. That's why he left. He knows that the Knicks would never be his team. But he's also smart enough to know, and he knows the history of the NBA, that if he wins a championship for the New York Knicks, he's a top 15 player of all time, undisputed.
And the whole age argument, his game is going to age like fine wine. Like, I really think it will. Yeah, like, will he be able to beat people off the dribble like he once did in his prime? Hell no. But let's just say he loses all athletic ability, everybody. He is still a 7-footer who can knock down threes at one of the highest rates we have ever seen. He's still going to be long on defense. Like, that matters. Could you imagine the length
What about the back-to-the-basket game?
Like, that won't go away. That's just making one move and
that
going.
shot is unguardable forever.
Ever. I don't know.
Is it a risk? Absolutely. But you know what? You know what else was a risk? Trading for OG Anunoby. I think we're all happy with that trade. You know what else was a risk? Including a first-round pick with Cam Reddish to get Josh Hart. I think we all think that worked out. You know what else was a risk? Giving Dante DiVincenzo 4 years, $48 million after one successful year in his career, and he flamed down the playoffs that year.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty good. You know what was a risk? Giving Jalen Brunson 5 years, $100 million. I think it worked out. Scared money don't make money.
Hey, you know what was a risk for the Mavs? Trading for Kyrie.
Yep. Look at him
That
now.
shit worked out.
Look at him now.
Like now they could be running the West for years. Come on.
Scared money don't make money.
Come on, man.
I'm not saying it's bulletproof, but I don't know what a better move out there right now is.
It is Kevin Durant. What?
Trust me, I've already spent hours thinking about what the move is.
Guys, I'm just.
What's the better move?
Take the feelings out of it. Like, dog, imagine everybody just imagine.
Who says Brandon Ingram's the better move? Did you watch the playoffs? Brandon Ingram was averaging 17. He was putting up Josh Hart numbers.
Bro, everybody just imagine what Kevin Durant. Also, the feeling in the Garden when you roll up. Talk about walk off the bus, winning a game. You walk off the bus, you go in the TD Garden, and you got Kevin Durant and Jalen Brunson.
John Thotty, if Mikal Bridges is available, I'm taking Bridges over Durant. Absolutely. As bad as I want Mikal Bridges, I don't think it's happening. Yeah, he's just way younger.
Yeah,
way younger.
Yeah.
Way younger. Obviously, I think Durant is better, and I think that he gives you a better chance to win in year 1, but what about year 5?
Yeah. See, like people saying we need a two-way guy. Like Kevin Durant's a good defender still. He's 7 foot.
Do we know who Kevin Durant is? Do we know?
Bro, he was making all defensive teams with Golden State. See, Katie would probably cost a farm.
John Thotty, I would think Kevin Durant would be expensive. I think it starts with Randall and McBride.
A lot of firsts.
And I think they want picks. And I'm not going to blame them if they ask for Mitchell Robinson.
Bro, you would also just be such a huge basketball team.
You know why you add, over the course of the years, Patrick Seaman, 11 first-round picks in the next 7 years, and then have 8 that are tradable? So you can overpay when the right player becomes available.
Yep.
You know how you trade for a superstar? You overpay.
Yeah.
No one ever traded for a superstar and said,
got a good deal. Like, nobody. Look at what the take the Timberwolves. They overpaid for Rudy Gobert, and that's Rudy fucking Gobert, and it ended up working out for him. You overpay for good players in the NBA. Also, first-round picks. I love how the Knicks own first-round pick if they got Kevin Durant. That's 27, 28 in the draft. We're not tripping.
We're already picking 25th.
That's like a third or fourth rounder in the NFL. I hate how everybody gets caught up on first-round picks. Like, if you're trading for a guy that's going to get you in the championship contention, it's like those picks are not going to be near the lottery.
Great Britain, what's up, bro? It says, imagine the feeling Garden getting Bridges. I think that Bridges is my number one trade target this offseason in realistic terms. And the terms realistic is also like very loose, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to talk about Bridges. Look, if Bill Simmons says that the Knicks are trading for Bridges, I'm going to talk about it. I still don't think it's going to happen. Doesn't mean I'm not going to talk about it.
You know that clip when Kevin Durant's like, I'm Kevin Durant. Everybody in the chat needs to go watch that.
He doesn't even need to be the first option. Just come in and help him.
It's Kevin Durant.
Just come in and help Brunson. You're telling me a closing lineup of Brunson,
Nova Boy,
either Hart or Devo, OG, KD, and iHeart? Who's stacking with that?
Who's scoring on that? Who's stopping it? Like,
You know how long you pause? You know how long you are?
dude. Yeah,
Would
CPJ.
teams target KD in the PO? In the
PO? Pick and roll or teams target
in the post?
in the post? Nah, yeah, I mean,
If the teams want to score against us in the post consistently, go ahead.
against Kevin Durant, I'm like, yeah, you can do that all night.
He says playoffs. Well, he just averaged 27 points in the playoffs on 55% from the field and 42% from three.
It's a dysfunctional Suns team.
Um,
KD is not y'all.
Ty Clemens says KD is another Melo move.
It's just not.
I would make the Melo trade again if I had Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Would you not? If you're not, pass me the crack you're smoking because it must be good shit. If you have this team right now and it costed you trading the farm for Melo and you got to keep Brunson and you wouldn't do it,
Can I ask
fuck is
everybody-
wrong with you?
Can I ask everybody in the chat right now? Suns GM, like they call you, say we want Randall, Deuce, and 6 first-round picks for Kevin Durant. Would you do it? That means Kevin Durant is on the Knicks, game 1. And if you're like, oh, it's too many first-round picks, you're gonna overpay, but you're getting Kevin Durant.
And it matters what those 6 first-round picks. And I just want to get in front of this in the chat because I already see some people saying this. Patrick Seaman, who are the top 5 most important players on the Knicks right now?
Brunson, Hart, Devo, OG, Hartenstein, or Randall?
Randall, right?
Yeah, Randall.
Those 5 players, okay?
Yeah.
How many of those 5 players are we including in a trade for Kevin Durant?
1.
1.
Right.
How the fuck is that trading the farm?
It's not.
How is that trading the farm? Do you know what trading the farm means? Trading the farm means you are trading Jalen Brunson. We're not. The farm is Jalen Brunson. I love Deuce. I love Randall.
Great, yes.
Trading Deuce and Randall is not your farm. If it is, you got a problem.
Also, it's Kevin Durant.
So don't ever say we're trading the farm unless we're trading Brunson and OG. That's the farm.
Yeah.
And then you got your farmers in Devo, in Hart, in Hartenstein.
You got the brand new tractor coming in Kevin Durant.
You can't say you're trading the farm if you're not trading Brunson and OG. Don't bring that BS in here. I don't got time for that. I don't got time for that. CPJ, what's up, man? Thank you for the love. He says, sorry. Look, I understand KD is a polarizing figure, but I just can't get down with you if you think that KD on the Knicks with OG Hart, DiVincenzo, and Isaiah Hartenstein is not a top 5 team in the NBA.
What? Dude.
Big Mike, did he kill the Warriors? Did he kill the Warriors? When KD is your 1A, yeah, you're in trouble. He ain't the 1A
such
here.
A diva.
When KD's your leader, you're a problem. When KD has to define the culture, you're a problem. But Patrick Steven, what happens when he comes in and he can just hoop and he can just be a part of the culture, be a part of the team, and be a scorer?
You had one of the best basketball teams of all time. He's a team killer. I just think, like, the last couple of years, people got a warped vision of who
I do too. I do too.
And it's cool. I get it. You know, KD hasn't been the best leader over the last couple of years, but that's not what he would need to be.
Star Dragon, I'd love to keep Deuce. But we got to remember, in a trade, if I want good players from you, you're going to want good players from me.
I'm not having Deuce McBride hold up a deal.
And every team that is trading with the Knicks this offseason is saying, I want Deuce McBride. Because he's cheap, and he's young, and he's got potential.
He's good.
Let's stop acting like, I don't know. It's just so crazy. But Marsh, you named 6 players. Who's going to be on our bench? And it's the same people in the playoffs. Bro,
yeah.
Tibbs is playing the same players, same amount of minutes. I don't know. Steve from NY says, I sound like Stephen A. talking from... All right, bro. I guess I'm dumb for thinking that Jalen Brunson, Kevin Durant, OG Anunoby, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, and Isaiah Hartenstein can win an NBA Finals. If that makes me dumb, I want to be even dumber. I
actually think it's stupid to think that wouldn't work. Like, I actually think it is a stupid take if you think that would not work. And everybody has their own opinion. I get it, but I actually would think it is. You have a stupid basketball mind if you don't think that would end up working.
What is the downside? Bro, a bad Kevin Durant season is averaging 25 points on 45 and 35 from the field. We're not saying Kevin Durant is the only fish we're hunting. We're not saying that is the end-all, be-all. But I am saying I'm not sure there's a better option right now.
Charles saying better buckle up for this Knicks offseason. It's going to be sparked of debate, clearly already.
CPJ says better buckle up for this Knicks offseason. Yeah. Yep. You're going to hear a lot from the Cam Reddish believers. You're going to hear a lot from the RJ Barrett believers.
Same people are tripping over that. We're good, though.
We know why y'all tune in here. We know why. We know that you know that we know that you know. CPJ, you know what it is. J10, what's up, bro? Thanks for tuning in as always and showing love. Says Durant would be a great fit, and he's a bit younger, being he missed a year plus with the Achilles injury. As for Bridges, would you trade Randall, who would require a double team to get Jalen relief? Are teams double teaming Randall in the playoffs?
No, not at all. I think they would love Randall going one-on-one, honestly.
Yeah. For me, I don't think Julius Randle changes the way a defense operates in the playoffs.
And
that's not to discredit Julius Randle. I've already said it. If there's not an upgrade, you keep him and you run it back because you were a damn good team. But the facts are the facts. Randle has not been good in the playoffs for whatever reason, XYZ. And why are we doubling Julius Randle?
Yeah.
No one does that in the playoffs. Maybe the Hawks did in 2021 when he didn't have Brunson. I don't remember the Cavs doubling Randle.
No.
I don't remember the Heat doubling Randle. Would I trade Randle for Bridges? Yes, I would. Yes, I would.
It's just an upgrade at that 4 spot.
That's just my take. I think he's a more efficient player. I think he fits the roster a little bit better. I think he gives you more versatility on the defensive end.
Yeah.
And overall, I just think the Knicks would be really, really good with Brunson, Dante, Hart, Bridges, OG, and Hartenstein. But that's just my take on that, J10. Who would double? I don't think you need people to get doubled. How about when Jalen gets doubled, we can pass to somebody and they can beat a 4-on-3.
Better play finishers.
Or they can beat their man off the bounce.
Oh my God, I mean, that's Bridges' game. Defense in rotation. It's either I'm rising up for a 3 or I'm one dribble, pull up, or get to the rack.
I don't think the Knicks need another guy that, like, yeah, it'd be cool, of course, and that's what KD would be. But for me, like, offensive scoring wasn't a problem for the Knicks in the playoffs.
No.
I think if you add Bridges, that gives you another 20-point per game scorer, another 40% shooter from 3, and another versatile defender. Another guy you could put on Siakam. Another guy you could put on Halliburton. When JB was off the floor, yes, CPJ. Agreed. I think Bridges could run your offense when Brunson's off the floor.
Yeah.
That's my take on that.
I don't even want to.
KD body isn't finishing a Tibbs season. Everyone's got their opinions. I don't know. I don't believe.
Thought, but
I don't even think it is fair, to be honest. I think it is an Instagram comment thought.
yeah, like this thought is not holding up a trade for Kevin Durant.
What about last year, Gabriel, when Mikal Bridges averaged 27.5 points per game in the final 27 games for Brooklyn? Was he not good then? What about when he averaged more than 25 points in the playoffs? Was he not good on offense then?
Gabriel, this past season was not who Bridges was.
But
This year bro.
how about last year showed that this year was a fluke?
This past year was a fluke. Who do you guys think Bridges is? Listen, I don't want to just get back and forth, man. Like,
this is how I would respond to you, Blue. It is scientifically proven the more that you drive, the more likely you are to get in a car crash, right? The more time you spend on the road, the more likely you are to be involved in a car crash. But let's say the car crash involves Patrick Seatman hitting me in my bumper and it is his fault. Is it now my fault for the accident because I drove too much? Or is it because Patrick Seatman hit me? Why does that matter? It's the same thing with basketball. Just because Julius Randle played a lot of minutes, it's not his fault or Tibbs' fault that the injury came on him separating his shoulder on a contact injury. Yeah. Just because Bogey plays for the Knicks, it's not Tibbs' fault that he got injured because someone dove into his ankle and broke his ankle. It's not Tibbs' fault that just because Mitchell Robinson got hurt, someone dove into his ankle and he got hurt. Makes no sense, man. It really makes no sense. We just come up with theories in our head, and that's what's wrong. We come up with theories in our head, and we try to prove them right even when they are idiotic.
So, like, people act like Tibbs is playing guys 20 more minutes a game than the next guy.
Did anyone see who played in Game 1 for Boston? Did anyone see that? No? We don't care about that, only when Tibbs does it? Because I found it so weird, Patrick Seatman, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players on the Celtics played more than 40 minutes and they won. And their bench had 3 players play. And one guy played 9 minutes and one guy played 13 minutes. Is no one going to criticize Boston? How come I haven't heard Joe Mazzulla is the reason that Kristaps Porzingis got hurt? Or do we only do that to rip our coach?
If you blame people for injuries, I think it... Guys, I am a Bulls fan. If there is anybody that would want to blame Tom Thibodeau for this stuff, it would be me. Injuries are fluky. It is just random. I think it is a soft hater take. Whatever.
I don't know. Someone just said something I want to respond to. I don't know where it went. Rajbir Singh says the only people that you can say got injured from overuse is OG and Hart. Well, OG Anunoby came to the Knicks in January, and he missed 30 regular season games. So how did Tibbs overplay him? Is he just not supposed to play OG Anunoby 38 minutes in the playoffs? And for Josh Hart, he played the next game. But whatever. Y'all already have your minds made up on Tibbs. I've seen that already. All right, let's talk about some rumors coming out from Ian Begley of SNY, as well as Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram and Donovan Mitchell rumors from SNY. And who was the other person? SNY and or it's just Begley. All this comes from Begley. All right, so let's get into it. Are the New York Knicks looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers situation after JB Bickerstaff was fired with hopes to make a blockbuster trade for Donovan Mitchell? We're going to break that down on today's show as you are watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up icon and subscribe to the channel. As we know, the New York Knicks have had their eye on Donovan Mitchell for quite some time, most notably dating back to the summer of 2022. There were even rumors last offseason that the Knicks wanted to trade for him. But I thought what Ian Begley said a couple of days ago about the situation was very, very important, saying, quote, the Knicks wouldn't be as aggressive trying to land Donovan Mitchell this summer as they were 2 years ago if he does become available. And with the Cavs maybe firing Bickerstaff, that can mean one of two things. They're just going to blow it up and let Mitchell walk, or they fired Bickerstaff because Mitchell wanted him to be fired. Maybe they will extend him, maybe they won't, maybe they will trade him. Doesn't come down as the Cavs want to extend him. It comes down to the Mitchell wants to extend with the Cavs. My overall take on this is I feel like the Donovan Mitchell dream of him being traded to the New York Knicks is dead. It's dead. And that's a good thing. And that is a good thing for the New York Knicks. The Knicks, at one point, needed Donovan Mitchell. That was the summer of 2022 before we knew that Jalen Brunson could play like the best player in the world any given night. The Knicks would have needed another guard that could score because we didn't expect Jalen Brunson. Maybe you didn't. Go back and check the takes. I did. That he could average 25 to 30 points per game. You needed another star. You needed more buzz. You needed more juice. But do you need it now? Do you need a guy that played 55 games this year and less than 70 2 years in a row and then 53 in 2020? We know Mitchell's a good scorer. We know Mitchell makes plays. We know Mitchell can dunk. We know he can pull up from 30. We know he can operate a high pick and roll offense. We also know he hasn't played all that well in the playoffs the last couple of years. Looked good this year, but once again, he missed 2 clutch playoff games where he saw his team get beat up by the Boston Celtics in the last 2 games. We also saw him get outplayed by Jalen Brunson by a wide margin in 2023. And we also saw him get outplayed by a wide margin by Jalen Brunson in 2022. The last 3 postseasons, he has been questionable at best. He was really good in 2021, 2020, but he was terrible in 2018, and he was just okay in 2017. I have a lot of thoughts on Donovan Mitchell and what he would bring to this team, what it would cost, should they do it, why should they not do it. But I don't think the Knicks need Donovan Mitchell at this point. You have your engine. You have your lead guard. You have your closer. You don't need to be redundant and add it again. And there's only so many pieces of the pie when it comes to the salary cap. You don't want to pay Donovan Mitchell $45 million, Brunson $35 million, and Anunoby $35, and you're capped out and you can't go get a big, you can't get a power forward, and if you're going to trade for Mitchell, it's probably going to be Julius Randle. And even I, someone who was once the president, maybe some people still think I am, of the Julius Randle hate club, I'm not trading Julius Randle for Donovan Mitchell. When I close my eyes and I visualize the team that's going to win a championship for New York, and I think about what's on it, doesn't cross my mind for a second that it's 2 6'1" guards that can't defend. That ain't winning, dude. That ain't winning. Who's guarding Maxey in the first round if you have Brunson and Donovan Mitchell? Who's guarding Halliburton if you're starting Brunson and Donovan Mitchell? I just don't see a way that a team with two guards, no matter how skilled offensively they are, that can't defend, win you a championship. Think about the teams that are left in the NBA playoffs. Minnesota Timberwolves are big. Boston Celtics are big. Like, got to be long. Got to be big. You don't want to be 6'1" at two guard spots with a 6'4" Josh Hart. You're small. That's not New York Knicks basketball. We're the big dogs, not the little dogs. Do you want Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks? I know there's a lot of people that probably still do. And I ain't never going to be mad at you. Fan how you want to fan. He's fun. He's exciting. It's fun using him on 2K. Do you want Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. I'm going to say no. I don't want Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks anymore. I think the Knicks can do better. And Ian Begley mentioned that the Knicks believe that there may be better players available. The quote was, maybe there are others that fit better. That was the quote that Ian Begley said on his show when talking about what the inside the building, the front office people for the New York Knicks thought. And he also mentioned Brandon Ingram. And I'm not saying that that Ian Begley has reported that the Knicks are actively searching a trade for Brandon Ingram, but he just loosely mentioned him. And I just think that means something when these beat reporters say stuff like that. And he probably said it because the Pelicans could look to shake it up. And there's been multiple reports that Brandon Ingram is most likely going to be traded by the New Orleans Pelicans. I am pretty iffy on Ingram. I've gone back and I've gone forth on Brandon Ingram as a player. Like, when you think about a prototypical small forward that scores, that creates, and gets it done at a high level, you think of a guy like Brandon Ingram, right? Can give you 20, 5+ assists, very efficient from the field, can knock down the three. But do I want to add another player that's played 64 games this year, 45 games the year before, 55 games before that, and 61 before that? Do I want to pay a player and give up a lot of assets to make a trade for Brandon Ingram who couldn't fit on a really loaded New Orleans Pelicans team? And on top of all of that, injury prone, questionable heart when it comes to winning, questionable, just killer instinct and all that. Do I want a guy that doesn't show up in the playoffs when his team needs him most? The guy averaged 14.3 points per game in the playoffs this year when his team got swept. He shot 34.5% from the field. He pulled a Randall versus the Hawks. The moment was too big, and that's okay. It's just weird because in 2022, in 6 games, he looked great in the playoffs. 27 points, 6 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 47% from the field, 40% from 3. I just don't know who he is. I really don't. And I think when you don't know who a player is by year 8, maybe that is just who he is. In theory, Brandon Ingram would be great. Long, lanky wing, can create his own shot, can get to the deck, can pull up from the mid-range, can catch and shoot, can isolate, can facilitate out of the high elbow. I just don't know. And I'm not making a move for someone I just don't know on. And am I trading Julius Randle for Brandon Ingram? Am I? If I'm trading for Ingram, I want him to play alongside Brunson, OG, and Randle. I want him to be the 4th option. I don't know. Help me out. Who's the better player? Who's the better player? Type BI for Brandon Ingram or JR for Julius Randle. We're going to talk more about Ingram and a couple more news bits in a second. But I need you guys to get hooked up with our proud sponsor, Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use that promo code CLNS, and Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Prize Picks is the #1 daily fantasy sports app in the game. You win big money. You withdraw your winnings by just picking more or picking less. You create a lineup of 2 to 6 players. They will give you a projected stat line, and you simply just choose more or less. NBA, NFL, college football, college basketball, NHL, so much more. Prize Picks is a lot of fun. Put your IQ when it comes to sports to the test and see if you could bring home some big money. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS, and they will match your first deposit up to $100. I really do believe that Julius Randle is a better player than Brandon Ingram. I think Julius is a better lead dog. He led his team to the 4th seed. I think Julius could be a better second or third option. We saw that last year in the regular season, and we saw that this year when the Knicks were 11-1 with Brunson, Randle, and OG. My only take that I can stand on right now that I am 100% confident in saying about what the Knicks should do this offseason is do not force a trade. The Knicks have been built so well, have been doing the right thing time and time again. You don't need to force anything. You just won 50 games with Randle playing 40, with OG missing 30. You just won 50 games. You were the 2 seed. You were a win away from getting to the conference finals while missing Robinson, Randle, OG, and Bogey. You don't have to force a trade. Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, and OG Anunoby, they played together for 12 games. Their record was 11-1. They were the best team in the NBA. The Knicks won by an average point total in those 11 wins by 18.7 points per game. They blew the doors off of their opponents, and it wasn't against terrible teams. They beat the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 1 of that era by 6. They beat a Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid played for the Sixers. Beat them by 36. They beat the Denver Nuggets with Jokic by 38, and they mopped the Heat off the floor by 16. And I honestly thought Julius Randle started to play some really good ball. He was already playing good ball all season long. But I thought him playing next to Anunoby, he kind of just realized that I don't have to be this isolation scorer anymore. I don't have to force and take bad shots and make bad shots to win games for this team. Like, think about it. His points per game, they went up. You know why? It wasn't because of more shots. It's because they were easier shots. Rebounding went down. I don't really care about that. I do think it's interesting the assists went up, meaning he took more of a playmaking role. It's also easier to get assists when you got 40% three-point shooters from the corner at all times on the floor. And the three-point percentage went up by 9 points because he got more open looks. No step backs, catch and shoot threes. I think Randle next to OG and next to Brunson makes a lot of sense. But I will say, if the Knicks can find a better fit and a better player than Randle, then sure, do the trade. Do the trade. If it makes you better, you got to do it. I don't know if that's available. I don't know who that is. But you don't just move off of 3-time All-Stars and 2-time All-NBA players at 29 years old. We all know Randle is not a perfect fit, and we all know Randle is not a perfect player. We know he's really struggled in the playoffs before. But who is available that is the perfect fit and that is a better player than Julius Randle? I don't know. I don't know who is available. Available that is better. I don't know. That'll be a decision Leon Rose is going to have to make. But at the end of the day, like I always say, nobody's a perfect player. Jalen Brunson's too short. Steph Curry has bad ankles. LeBron James, not the best three-point shooter. Giannis can't shoot. You can always have a critique for a player. Nobody's perfect. What do you think the Knicks should do? Run it back or make a big move? Sound off for me in the comment section. Make sure you are following me on social media at @MarshallGreen_ on Twitter, as well as at @MarshallGreen_ on Instagram. Hit me up over there, and let's go Knicks. Want to grab me a water? Yeah. Julian says Kobe didn't have any weaknesses. What about not being a willing passer at all times and not being the most efficient player? Quite literally, there is a critique you could make about every single player. No player is perfect. It's going to be some tough decisions for Leon Rose to make. And I wouldn't rather be in any other spot. Because when you got to make tough decisions, that means you've probably done something right along the way. And the Knicks have done a lot of right recently. Kobe Bryant being a ball hog narrative died in like 99. No, it didn't. Did you watch the years after they traded Shaq and before they got Pau Gasol? Did you watch the NBA then, brother? You don't got to tell on yourself all the time, guys. You don't always have to tell on yourself. This team's couldn't even make the playoffs some years. John Pettit, what's up, bro? Says not trading Randall for another guard. We were small with no inside scoring, and Randall gives us both. A lot to like about Julius Randle. A lot to like. Randall for Middleton? Hell no. Hell no. All right, all right. Seeps just ran to the restroom. We're going to do a mailbag coming up to close today's show. Shout out to all 3,400 people that have already tuned in. Y'all are the best. We appreciate you. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up icon. It'll help us out a lot, and it means a lot to the channel. But if you want to get your questions featured on the mailbag, now is your last chance. Hashtag Knicks or Super Chat to get on the show. All Super Chats, Knicks related, will get in the mailbag. Thank you, Brody. CPJ says Randall doesn't like playing the 5. To be honest, I don't think he can play the 5. Especially in a Tom Thibodeau defense where there is so much responsibility on that 5 to protect the rim. He's just not a great rim protector. And I know that, and we went through this so many times last year, that Randall can stack his rebounding numbers. I'm not calling him a glass owner, especially at the 5. Like, you're not dominating the glass on defense or offense with Randall at the 5.
Like, he's a great, 4 rebound, just because of the space he takes up. But I don't think Randall can play in 5.
Yeah, I don't think the T-Wolves are trading Cat at this point.
I don't think so. I doubt that. Yeah, hashtag Knicks, though. Get your questions up on screen. CPJ, is Anthony Edwards available? Nah, I don't think so. Maybe Luka. I don't know.
How are the questions looking? Do we got some in there? I feel like the question pool's been a little low in participation.
It actually has. We do need some more questions, fellas.
If y'all could,
help us out.
Please hashtag Knicks or Super Chat, or maybe just, I don't know, create a layer with no.
Yeah, just filter it.
Roll through it, but hashtag Knicks to get on the show, or Super Chat. If you don't know what hashtag Knicks means, got some new viewers, I'm assuming. If you want a question to be featured on our mailbag, comment down below, but make sure in that comment you put $, no spaces, and type in Knicks. Capiche?
Capiche?
Capiche? Capiche. Okay. Bill? Yes, you know round ball, Bill.
Bill,
What up,
ask
Bill?
a question.
What's
putting
up,
you on
Bill?
there.
Bill, do you see me getting attacked on Twitter because I said Daniel Jones missed an open receiver? People are now saying I'm just making stuff up again. I think anybody that watched that video except Daniel Jones saw it. There was another player open 10 yards further down the field. I can't wait for the 2025 Giants season.
It might be rough this year. Yeah, hashtag Knicks. Get them in there. Low on questions, so if you get one on there. J10, we're going to put that up there. That will actually be the first question we go to. Gotcha. Appreciate you, Will.
I spent too much time trying to go at these people on Twitter that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like this one right here. So Daniel Jones threw a drag route at practice. He got tapped right away.
Yeah.
Which means he would have been tackled. If you throw a 2-yard pass and you're tackled right away, were you open?
Probably not.
How could you be open? You were guarded and tackled upon the catch.
Keith, definitely. Twitter is a cesspool now. Thank you, Julian. Hashtag Knicks. We got it. We got it. EC, appreciate it.
The thing that people are saying is like, bro, you have no idea what they're working on. How do you know what they're working on? When is a drill ever designed to throw a 2-yard drag route into coverage with a 7-yard over route open right behind him?
It's those eyes.
Oh, shit, I see an open player. I got to take it. Daniel Jones fucking sucks. God, I fucking cannot wait till he's off this team. All right, let's talk Knicks. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green, and it is mailbag time here on the channel. We like to just pause, sit back, and answer questions from subscribers around the New York Knicks and what they might do this offseason. As we know, it's going to be a big one for the Knicks. 2 seed, 50 wins, but they fell a game short of the conference finals. They have 8 tradable first-round picks. They're going to make some moves, and I'm excited to see what they do. First question coming in for my guy Neighbors is him. What's up, bro? Says, how can anyone say no to Kevin Durant? Dude's been healthy and proven to be a bucket. Would make our team hella big, too. I agree, man. I truly do believe that if you have a basketball team that features Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, and Isaiah Hartenstein, we've learned that team can get to Game 7 of the second round. It already happened. Imagine if you had Kevin Durant. Look, is he older? Yes. Has he had some injury issues? Yes. But he just played 74 games, and he just dominated once again in the playoffs. Kevin Durant is one of the best scorers to ever touch a basketball, and I think that the Knicks would be a perfect situation for him. I look at it as almost very similar to the Golden State Warriors situation that he joined. Yeah, the Knicks do not have a championship, but they have their star, they have a culture, they have an identity, and they have probably a Hall of Fame coach at this point. All KD's got to do is step in and hoop. Doesn't got to be a leader. Doesn't have to be a captain. Doesn't have to do anything except put the ball in the basket at the high clip that he does. Justin, what's up, bro? Who are your top 3 targets, Marshall, for the Knicks offseason? Mine is D. Book, Mikal, and KD. That's good. Those are good. I'm in on all those. Yeah. Can we squeeze Giannis in there somehow? Can Giannis be squeezed in there? Brian Windhorst says every team is watching Giannis right now. I don't think I'm ready to close the book yet on Giannis. But, yeah. Yeah. Those 3 and Giannis would be in my top 4 if we're calling those realistic to an extremely large stretch. Will, what's up, man? Says, if the Knicks can't trade for Mikal or KD, besides DeMar, is there any other player that you would trade to come off the bench? It's a really good question. The only thing that I would be curious about is, Will, if the Knicks are trading for a bench player, who are they giving up, right? Like, who are we trading for a bench player? I'm not trading Randall for a bench player. I'm not trading Hart for a bench player. I honestly don't want to trade any of my players on the team for a bench player. So that would mean it would have to be a pick package, right? Like, Bogey can go if he needs to because of the $20 million, and it would make it easy to make a move. So Bogey and picks is your offer, right? Guys to come off the bench. I would want a sneaky one. This isn't a trade. What about a guy? You might hate me for this because I continue to mention old players, but you know what? When you're trying to win a championship, you sometimes need that. What about a cheap Chris Paul? What about cheap Chris Paul in free agency to come run your offense when Jalen Brunson is out of the game? When it comes to trading for one, Will, what do the Knicks need off the bench? I think they need another wing that can defend, that can guard a Pascal Siakam if you get into foul trouble, and then another point guard. Because I don't think Deuce is a point guard. I think Deuce is a 2 guard. Yeah, if the Timberwolves can't pay everybody, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, it's a good question. It's a good question. Bench scoring is what I would look at, and bench defense. I don't know. I think the Knicks got to upgrade in the starting lineup. That's kind of where I'm more focused on. It's a good question, Will. I'll continue to think about it, and when I get a better answer for you, I'll come up with one. But what about NWA from Minnesota and maybe Chris Paul off the bench in free agency? I'd be cool with that. People are saying Malik Monk. Malik Monk is going to be way out of the Knicks' price range. Way out. That's another thing we got to consider. Blue says, if the Knicks get Mikal Bridges, do you think they push for Dorian Finney-Smith in the trade package? Would love to. I'd love a Dorian Finney-Smith. That would go for Will's question as well. And I saw that trade package on Twitter be thrown around. It was like Randall for Bridges and Dorian Finney-Smith with the Knicks giving up picks as well. I love Dodo. I love Dorian Finney-Smith. You talk about modern-day Luau Deng. Tom Thibodeau get another one of those guys. Imagine a defensive lineup behind Brunson with Dodo and OG Anunoby and Hartenstein. Dorian Finney-Smith would be a great addition to that trade. I just really don't believe that are the Brooklyn Nets really going to trade Mikal Bridges to the Knicks? No matter how bad we all want it, doesn't really matter. My guy King Deej in the building. What's up, homie? We'll get to more questions coming up in a second. But first, I got to give a huge shout-out to today's sponsor here on Knicks Now by Chat Sports, and that's Chubbies. Go to chubbyshorts.com/chat and use that promo code chat, and Chubbies will hook you up with 20% off your order. Summer is right around the corner, guys, and our friends at Chubbies are bringing the good vibrations. Chubbies is a lifestyle apparel brand that makes every moment feel like a vacation. They say fashion is the expression of one's character, so why not let the world know you're down for a good time? For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your order with our exclusive code CHAT. Use code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com/chat. Chubbies offers a variety of high-quality men's apparel, from super stretchy shorts and swim trunks in 3 short inseam lengths to pants, polos, and button-down shirts for whenever you need to hit up your favorite weekend spot. Embrace the spirit of endless summer with Chubbies, the ultimate destination for bold, vibrant, and outrageously comfortable clothing. Whether you're getting dressed for your workday, a workout, or a weekend getaway, Chubbies has you covered. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our viewers 20% off your order with our code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com/chat. That's code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com/chat. Support our show and tell them we sent you. Don't blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubbies. Finesseful J, what's up, bro? He says, what potential trades that aren't being spoken about should we trade for the Knicks? I like that Dodo trade, man. And I know even if you can't get Bridges, maybe just exploring that idea. Another trade that I would like to see the Knicks make that people aren't discussing. DeMar DeRozan. Like I don't feel like that one's being discussed all that much. Could you swing DeRozan and Caruso? That'd be pretty nice. I know there's been a lot of talk about Jalen Green being mentioned to the New York Knicks. I don't know if I want Jalen Green. I don't know if he is the most winning player. Does he fit the brand and identity of the New York Knicks? I would say no. There's been some talk about Kuzma, and I see my guy King Deej in the chat talking about Kuzma. He says Boyan for Kuzma or DeMar as a six-man. We've been talking DeMar as a six-man for a long time, and I think that'd make a lot of sense. If you can get Kuzma without giving up one of your core three and really your core five, when you talk about Randall, Brunson, OG, Devo, and Hart, then yeah, I'd be cool with Kuzma. Kuzma off the bench would be dope. Someone in the chat saying Jonathan Isaac. Are the Magic moving off of him? Got a sneaky one for you. This isn't like a needle mover. What about like a Wendell Carter off the bench? If you have to move off Robinson somewhere else, you get a big that can stretch the floor and hit threes while also provide you some defense and some rebounding. I've always liked Wendell Carter. I've compared him somewhat of like an off-brand Al Horford before. I think the Knicks, if they re-sign Hartenstein, they're going to have to make a decision on Mitch. I don't know if you could depend on him consistently. I love Mitch, love the defense, love the rebounding, but facts are the facts. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. Wendell Carter's kind of had that injury issue as well. Another guy on the Magic. What about Markelle Fultz? Another guy that could control your offense and be kind of a generator off the bench. I think could make some sense. See someone talking about Lauri Markkanen. He ain't trading Jimmy Butler to the Knicks. Those who I got right now. It's still early. Ty Clemens. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much faith do you have on Leon Rose bringing a chip to the Knicks? It's most confident I've ever been in as a Knicks fan. At 29 years old, the Knicks will win a championship. It's the most confident I've ever been that the Knicks could win a championship is with Leon Rose as their general manager. I'll go 9, and I can't say 10 because that just means it's going to happen. And I think Knicks still have some steps to climb to make sure that it's absolutely going to happen. CPJ says, this question is for Seeps. I just want to know why you don't like Booker.
Yeah, so we got in that debate a little bit during our live show, and it's not that I don't like Booker as a player. I just don't know if he is the piece that kind of takes the Knicks to the championship. Because you think about it, and I know Booker's got decent size for a guard, but then at that 3 spot, are you running OG, or are you going to go Josh Hart or DiVincenzo at that 3 and then OG at the 4? I just feel like it would give the Knicks a smaller field than they would have had in the playoffs. Marsh, I know you're obviously bigger on Booker than I am.
Yeah, man, I think a starting lineup of Brunson, Booker, Hart, and OG with Hartenstein, I think that can win the championship. And I think you're bringing Devo off the bench. I think Booker would be an awesome addition. 6'5", 28 point per game scores, that average 50% from the field and shoot 40% from 3, can score from all 3 levels, back to the basket, defend at an average level, would be pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Your 2 and 3 are Booker and OG with Hart at that 4 or whoever at that 4. Yeah, you may be a little bit smaller, but at the end of the day, you got 2 guards that keep coaches up at night trying to slow them down.
Yeah.
Is it perfect? No. Is there a perfect fit? And Booker's young. But it ain't happening. They're not trading him right now. Unless he just demands to be traded. Blue, what's happening, family? Says, how about Luke Kennard as a bench piece? I'll take Luke. He could shoot it. That's a late July move, though, for me. That's not one I'm itching to get done before the draft. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Knicks could use another sniper like Kennard. I'd be cool with that. I'd be cool with that. Julian, do we know if the draft pool will be decent enough this year to pick up a nice two-way prospect, almost another McBride-type project? Well, the Knicks own the 24th pick, 24th and 25th pick in the first round, as well as the 38th pick overall. So they have 3 picks and tied the top 38. I haven't been fully immersed in my draft coverage yet. Playoffs just ended, so forgive me on that. I'm just going to lean on the experts on this one. The experts say this is a terrible draft. Which I think what they mean by that is it's not top heavy. You could always find a role player, though. You can always find a role player. The Knicks need to come out of the draft with at least one guy that will be in the rotation either this year or next year. Make sure to hit me up on social media. I'm trying to grow my game over there. Hit me up on Twitter or IG. I'm at @MarshallGreen_ on both of those. King D says if Mitch does get moved, Kel L. Ware in the draft, CAA, Mike Woodson, center that could play 3 and D. I'll check him out. I haven't gotten to get into my draft coverage yet. I've been so busy just covering the playoffs and then trying to get the early free agency stuff down and still covering the Giants. I'll check him out, though, King Deej. Appreciate you throwing me a lob right there. Y'all said Booker. Yeah, Booker has kind of shut it down as well as Paul George. King Deej, I'd love to get your perspective on Kevin Durant. As a Knick. If you want to let us know what you think. Kel Ware. You know anything about him?
I haven't really looked into him.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about him. I just come back to this. The Knicks are not in a spot where they need to force a trade.
No.
Or they are in a spot where they don't need to force a trade is kind of where I'm at on that. If you need to go through November and December and decide if Randall's the fit, so be it.
That's also probably the most likely choice for the Knicks is they give that group a chance to prove themselves. Because, I mean, what if the Knicks start next year with that 5, they go 17-2? It's like they legitimately look like one of the best teams in the league.
OG Brunson and Randall, 11-1 together in January, and in those 11 wins, they won by an average of 18 points per game. They were dominating kids.
And also their only loss was just because Marsh and I were there.
The only loss of the OG Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson era, I was there, and I will take the blame for that.
Yeah.
That shit pissed me off.
They knew the boys were
there. They
there.
lose one game together, and it was the one I went to.
Crazy.
Effing bull. BS.
The Jalen Green stuff. I hope the Knicks don't even think about that.
Yeah, I'm not in on Jalen Green. Shout out to him for bagging Drea, but I'm good on that.
He did jinx it.
John Borelli says campaign. I like campaign as a little off the bench guard, but I don't hate that. Nice dig right there, Borelli. What's happening, bro? Good to see you in the chat. So Real 13. Yes, sir. What's up, bro? Yeah. Justin says, I would run it back if we don't get KD, Mikal, D-Book, Giannis coming to the Knicks. To me, is highly doubtful. The Bucks don't pair Giannis with Middleton and Dame just to possibly have him shipped.
And also, the Bucks window was a 2-year window.
Yeah, they got 2 years.
Yeah.
Keith Turner, if the Knicks trade for KD, Julius Randle will be in it.
Yeah.
Randle will be in it.
And I wouldn't want Randle on the team with KD.
Do I think the Knicks take a chance on Bronny? I think they could.
I think they could.
I think they could, too. I bet Tibbs looks at Bronny and says, I could probably turn him into a kind of a little Deuce McBride hybrid.
Dude, I was watching his workout. He is going to be good.
Is he ever going to be an all-star? No.
No.
Is he ever going to average 15 points per game? No. But why can't he be Deuce McBride?
Yes.
Why can't he be Avery Bradley?
He is going to work. I will stand on that. I think Bronny's going to be a really good role player in the NBA. It's just
he has the tools to be a role player.
Yeah.
King D's talking about Zach Edey. If anybody looking for a wing without a trade, Najee Marshall might be available in trade. So I have heard that one.
Went to college with him. Good dude. Najee's also a guy, like, you would fall in love with him. Like the way he plays, like it's just
King
winning.
Deej, when you say that, are you talking about the mid-level exception? Are you talking about the mid-level exception? That's from what I understand, not trying to act like I know more than Bobby Marks, but that's for the non-taxpayer teams. And if you re-sign OG and you re-sign Hartenstein, you're going to be a tax team, but you can do it in a way, which I'm sure Bobby outlined. You sign the MLE guy first, and then you use your bird rights to sign OG and your bird rights to sign Hartenstein. But you know what? I'm not going to take it off the table because Leon Rose's freaking son is OG Ananobi's agent. And yeah, so you are right. They could use that mid-level exception if they don't become a tax team or before they become a tax team.
So Coach Sire, I'm big on Jonathan Isaac. I'm a big fan of his game. And I actually think the Magic would give him up. He was only playing 15 minutes a game last year for him.
Was that kind of load management, though, you think?
True, it could have been load management.
I don't want Isaac as a starter, though, yet.
No.
Yeah, off the bench. Off the bench.
Bro, defensively, the
Salute,
wings,
King Deej. We know ball, brother. We know ball, brother.
Man, Jonathan Isaac as just an end-of-the-bench piece, he would be awesome.
The highest we can go, Coach, is 4 for 72.5 for Hartenstein. 4 for 72.5 for Hartenstein. And I think there's going to be a team that offers him more than that. I'm pretty confident about that. I think it might be the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, dude, they're going to toss him bag.
That's a perfect spot.
Perfect, dude. Could you imagine that line?
iHeart, Chet, J-Dub, SGA, Lou Dort. Bring Joe back off the bench with Wiggins and Cason Wallace. Thank you.
Bro, that would be a nasty team.
iHeart on that team would be awesome. And they have the salary cap space to do it. So I'm worried iHeart has played his last game as a Knick. But man, 4 for 72 for him is a lot of money. John Pettit, what's up, bro? He says, Marsh, what do you do with Mitch? I love Mitch. I respect the fact, and I love the fact that he is like a Knick at his core, and he is the longest tenured Knick on this roster. But for me, I really struggle with the fact that I'm paying $14 million for a bench big that gives you nothing on the offensive end except for an alley-oop every 10 games and an injury-prone player at this point. And I hate to say that. Like, I hate to say it. Because I love Mitch, bro. Like, I remember me in the second-round pick, and I was like, this guy's going to be somebody one day. Former All-American in high school. Had some weird stuff go on in college. We all remember the KD clips from summer where he's looking like KD in a pickup game. I got all the love in the world for Mitch. He's not CAA, he says.
That's funny.
Always got love for Mitch. I'll never forget what he did in that Cleveland Cavs series in Game 5 where he made Jarrett Allen look like his son. But business is business, and it's strictly financial. And he's the last one. He is the last one of the old regime. He's the last one here from the old regime. Everybody else is gone. Everybody else is gone. I say all that to say who's trading for Mitchell Robinson right now.
Yeah.
He's a part of a package. But injuries, Will. Stinks. It stinks. I don't want him to be an injury-prone player. That's the rules. Tony says we his defense and rebounding and protecting the paint, we have enough scoring. Do we have enough scoring? I don't think that scoring was the problem necessary in the playoffs, but I thought CPJ made a good point. We were still really stagnant when Brunson was out, and
you're too Brunson reliant. Like, if he wasn't great.
We had to have Alec Burks come in and play and carry the offense. We could use another creator.
Yeah.
I'm about to go check him out after this, King Deej. So real, I think Mitch off the bench would keep him healthier. Yeah, I could see that. I'm not going to be mad if Mitch is on this team next year. I would like a little bit more versatility. Yeah, I think keeping McBride is going to be huge, but think about this like this, King Deej. Any team that wants to make a trade with the Knicks, they're asking for McBride. Like cheap, young talent that's gotten better every year.
Yeah.
Every team that makes a trade with the Knicks is going to want McBride. If I'm making a trade with the Knicks and I'm the GM of another team,
it's a number one guy to throw in.
It's a no-brainer. I got to get him.
Especially if it's for a big fish. Like,
yeah, like he has, because one, he doesn't make anything.
Yeah.
And two, he's cheap.
And if another team's owner or GM is going to be like, all right, you're seriously going to let Deuce McBride hold this up? Like, we're giving you Kevin Durant, whoever it is.
Yeah. All righty. We're going to sign off on today's show. We've been live for 2 hours. It's the end of a long week for me and Patrick Seaman. 4-day weekend coming up. I'm going to do my best to get you guys videos every single day. But I haven't had a weekend like this in a long, long time. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to all 4,100 people that tuned in today. It was major love. Great vibes as always. We'll see y'all later. And let's go!